When we talk about hunger, we tend to talk about the physical signals. So you know that gripping pain in the tummy when your body motivates you to go and find some food or nourishment to relieve the discomfort, and to fill that empty space. But did you know that most of our deeper hungers are psychological, emotional, and relational? They come from the effects of our interpersonal relationships, the behaviors and how we relate to each other. Manifest these different hungers in us. And one of the most prolific hungers in society and globally is loneliness. And loneliness comes in different forms. Loneliness can be our personal loneliness, where where it's the absence of an intimate other, where we're sitting and thinking, I wish I had somebody, or that kind of loneliness. Or there's the social loneliness of that lack of feeling part of a community, lack of feeling woven into the fabric of community. And it's not just any community, it's about feeling like you belong, feeling a community that has meaning to you. And all these different hungers, all of them work along the same neural pathways as physical pain, because all of these hungers create a physical pain inside. When the hunger, whether it's the physical hunger, whether it's the psychological, emotional, or relational hunger, the body's triggered because it hurts. So the body, so your threat defense system's triggered off, and it sends off these signals to us that says, listen, something's wrong, I'm in danger, there's a risk to me, go and do something, find something, in the environment that's going to relieve this pain and fill this empty space. So of course there's plenty things in society that we can find to fill a space. But unlike the physical pain of hunger, unlike the physiological pain, when we eat a meal, we feel better, we stop, we've had our... But when it comes to the other hungers, they never ever fill that space. They never ever satiate us. And because we haven't been taught to discern, we haven't been taught the difference between the physical hunger and the psychological. There's not many cultures or places in this world that teach children and people at a young age how to deal with that. Not deal with it, but how to just accept our full humanness and be okay with that, and address things in a healthy way. No, our society, the world is just very critical, judgmental. It's opinionated. It has expectations of what women are like, what men are like. Your value depends on your productivity, what you can do, how much you can make, your competitiveness, that kind of toxic masculinity and femininity. It's really it creates this world where people avoid the feelings of discomfort and will do anything to avoid it by filling it up. And as I say, in this world, there's plenty. That's where our addiction, that's where we get locked in these patterns, these addictive patterns, because we either eat more, you get these eating disorders, you eat and eat and eat, or you can fill that space with alcohol, drugs, sex, shopping, cars, gambling, the usual stuff, the usual culprits, or social media. You know, and right now in this world, globally, we are consuming the most extraordinary volume of telephone and internet broadband to avoid the feeling of emptiness and loneliness. And you know, the more we have, the more money you have, the more wealth people have, the more they're consuming, the deeper their hunger, the stronger that feeling of emptiness is, and the more they're consuming irreplaceable resources on this planet. Irreplaceable resources on this planet. Just think about that for a minute. Millions of people, millions of us doing the same thing. What are the consequences of that? So what do we do? What do we do about it? What do we do about it? Well, first of all, we've got to be aware. You've got to be aware that you're locked in that. You've got to be aware that you're doing that. We've got to be aware that we're falling into that trap of avoidance and filling that emptiness with something, with stuff, rather than checking in and finding out what hunger it actually is. So the first thing we have to do is pause and check in and notice, am I caught up in that loop again? Am I caught up in that addictive behaviour, that unhealthy habit? And pause. And then take a few slower, deeper breaths in and out. And then ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? What am I feeling right now? And is it a hunger? Is it the physical hunger? Or am I locked in that pattern of avoiding what I really am feeling and just grabbing? Am I on autopilot? The same habit of just grabbing. And am I going on the internet to shop? Am I just grabbing for the bottle? Am I just going in and munching away and stuff to numb the feelings, the discomfort, the pain that I don't want to feel? Because society, because I'm relying on external validation for how I feel. What am I doing? What hunger is it? And is this pattern, is what I'm about to do going to help me, or is what I'm about to do going to keep me stuck in this pattern? And then just sit with it. Sit with it and let it pass, just like clouds passing in the sky. Just let that feeling kind of pass through its cycle to dissolve. And then go and do something. Do something that actually makes you feel, like you've shown yourself some compassion. Accept the humanness, that what's happening is just a normal human response. Accept that this is a normal human response, and that, okay, I get locked in this pattern. Don't beat yourself up about it, but just be compassionate to yourself about it. And just go and make yourself a cup of tea or something, or go and speak to someone. The point is, the loneliness and the emptiness and that hunger is about finding true connection. It's always about finding true connection. Somebody to speak to have meaning, to feel like you belong, to have some meaning in your life. Do something that fills you with meaning. Okay, I've talked enough. It's a long video, folks. See you again later.